Why do so many men stay strapped in porn even when they're desperate to quit? Maybe you've tried. You've deleted the apps. You've set up filters. You swore you'd never go back. Perhaps you make it a few days or even a couple weeks. Then you slip, slide back, and relapse. Brother, you're not weak. You're not broken. And most importantly, you're not beyond help. But you are making mistakes that you don't know you're making. And those mistakes are keeping you stuck. In today's episode of The Real Man, I'm going to expose 15 of the most common mistakes that men make when trying to quit porn. Some of these will sting, and they should, because once you see them, you can fix them. And when you fix them, you won't just quit porn, you'll transform. You'll rewire your brain, you'll reclaim your identity, and build a life that makes porn unnecessary. Welcome to the Rebuilt Man podcast. My name is Coach Frank Rich, founder and host here, and it's been our mission for the last 6 years to help men just like you, high-performing, driven, successful men caught up in the depths of pornography addiction, break the chains, rewire their brains, reclaim their identity, and step into a life of freedom. And if you're new to the podcast, welcome. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you're watching this on YouTube, turn those post notifications on. But let's grab a pen and make a mental note, because I'm about to run through the 15 biggest mistakes that men make when trying to quit porn and how you can avoid them. Now, if you want real, lasting freedom, you got to stop making the mistakes first. Let's dive in. Mistake number one is they are trying to quit with willpower alone. You see, this issue isn't about discipline. If you're a successful, driven, high-performing man, you have discipline. But this issue will not be conquered simply through your willpower discipline alone. It's about rewiring your brain, reclaiming your identity, what we call reshaping your heart and rebuilding your lives. So if we're trying to do this and we don't have a plan of how we're going to accomplish those things, brother, we are setting ourselves up for failure. And it leads us to mistake number two, is not replacing this habit. You cannot remove porn without replacing it. You're just going to be starving for dopamine. Is this a habit that we use to alleviate stress? Is this a habit that we use when we are alone, isolated, and seeking connection? We got to find quote unquote replacements in those situations. We can't just quit the behavior without giving our brains and our bodies something to replace it with. Mistake number three is trying to go at it alone. Shame thrives in isolation. Isolation is the breeding ground for addiction, but freedom thrives through brotherhood. There's a powerful quote. I've shared it many times. The opposite of addiction is not sobriety. The opposite of your addiction will be the community and the connection that you build in your pathway to freedom. We got to find a tribe, a brotherhood of men that we can have open, meaningful, real, accountability-driven conversations with. What are the things that you're afraid of? What are the things that you're holding that are keeping you living in shame? Get them off of your chest. Put them into a space where other men can let you know that you're not doing this alone. Mistake number four, we'll hear this from men when they consult about joining our programs, is I'll do it when the timing is right. But there's no perfect moment. If you've realized that this addiction is having a negative impact on your life, the perfect moment is now. The men that we've seen break through and create the highest levels of success and transformation are the ones that take action. They get vulnerable, they get real, they join a brotherhood. They stop relying on willpower, they start replacing the habits. There's no perfect time other than right now to begin to find your freedom. Mistake number five is treating the symptom, but not the root. You see, porn is the medication, but what pain are you medicating it with? Every single one of us has a root cause of why we struggled with porn. And oftentimes the root is not what you're perceiving it's going to be. Many men have struggled because they're looking for something in their past that is rooted in sexual abuse and sexual trauma. But oftentimes those aren't the cases. For some, yes, it will be. But our roots could be the inability to sit in our quiet thoughts alone, the inability to manage success in our life, an upper limit root problem. This is what we've really been able to hone in on and help those guys identify. You may need some therapy. I don't know. But if you don't start looking at your past and at your roots, you are going to continue to stay stuck in the relapse cycle. Mistake number 6 is using half measures without a full commitment. Things like accountability apps, blockers, filters, reading a book. Half measures. Blockers and filters aren't going to fix the man. The only pathway to real lasting freedom is through transformation. Can you use a blocker? Sure, it can be a tool in a bigger plan. Should you read books? 100%. It should be a slice of the pie in your process. But all of these alone and by themselves are not full measures for transformation. Listening to this podcast alone will not change your life. You don't need more information. In fact, this episode, I shared it 30 episodes ago, almost exactly the same content. So many of you are hearing this for the 3rd, 4th, 5th time. Why aren't you changing? Because you're not taking action with real commitment. You haven't decided. You haven't cut off the option of staying stuck. Mistake number 7 is thinking that one slip, one relapse means that you're starting over. A slip is feedback. It's nothing more. It's not failure. Failure is when you give up. If you slid back, you made a choice. So identify why you made that choice. There's an opportunity to learn, to grow, to evolve, to become better, to walk in freedom and purity. Mistake number 8 is isolating when they feel shame. We've already talked about how isolation is the breeding ground for this addiction. When you slip, when you relapse and you bottle it up and you don't share it with anybody, that's the moment that you feel worthless and powerless. When in fact, it's that exact moment that you need to find somebody to connect with. Somebody that's going to know the struggle, somebody that's been through that in their own lives. Stop isolating when you feel guilty and shame. Mistake number 9 is trying to fix everything all at once. You will not find freedom by trying to overhaul your entire life in one shot. You need momentum, small, daily, incremental progress towards a desirable outcome. This is why we created the 7-day porn reset, which you can get at therebuiltman.com/7-day reset. It's a week of momentum building exercises and assignments to show you the power of small progress day in and day out. But stop trying to fix it all at once. Mistake number 10 is not owning their new identity. Brother, you are not an addict, and I don't want you to see yourself that way. Once you choose to transform, you become a man of transformation, a rebuilt man. The old man has died, and there will be a birth of a new identity. You must fully embrace that and walk in it day in and day out. So mistake number 10 is not owning their new identity. Now I want to pause here and stop for a moment because this is critical. You're not just trying to quit this bad habit. That's all you're doing, brother. You've already lost. Quitting porn, ending this behavior is the doorway to a new life. It is not the destination. The real work is becoming the kind of man who doesn't need porn, a man that's on a mission, a man with power, a man that walks in his purpose. Now that is the shift that leads to lasting freedom. Let's wrap it up with the final 5 mistakes here. Number 11, seeking numbness instead of healing. We talked earlier about replacing the habit, but you don't replace it with binging. You don't replace it with Netflix. You don't replace it with food. You don't replace it with social media. You got to replace it with purpose-driven activities, creative endeavors that are going to unlock something new inside of you. If all you did was swap this for another addiction, you swapped drugs. You haven't healed anything. So stop trying to numb yourself and start stepping into the life, the potential, the man that God, you know, is calling you from the inside to be. Mistake number 12 here is lying about the progress that's been made. Real freedom starts with honesty. Stop pretending that you're free when you're slipping. If you stopped watching porn, but now you're binge scrolling on Instagram, you haven't healed anything. You've just once again replaced it. Stop telling people that you're walking in freedom. This leads right into number 13, the mistake of lusting in the mind and thinking that it doesn't count. Freedom starts within your mind, not in your browser. Controlling your eyes, controlling your heart. That's the lasting freedom and transformation that we're talking about. Number 14 is refusing to let go of shame. That's holding on to the identity of the past self. That's not embracing the man that you're really becoming. Shame is a prison. Real grace, forgive yourself. Grace is the key to unlocking the transformation within. Mistake number 15 here, this is one of the biggest ones we see all the time, is failing to create a long-term vision for your new life of freedom. If you don't know where you're going to go back to where you came from. Do you have a vision for the man that you need to become? For what your fitness, for what your family, for what your faith will look like, for how you'll steward your finances, for how you'll unlock and create more freedom with your time. Stop failing to create that long-term plan. Now, if these 15 mistakes hit home, that's a good thing. It means you're done living in the dark, because awareness is the first step to freedom. Quitting porn isn't about stopping something bad. It's about starting something better, building a life, a mission, an identity that makes porn irrelevant. And if you're done making these mistakes and want to start walking out in real freedom, don't go back into this battle alone. Join me in the same group and program that hundreds of men before you have found freedom in our 7-day porn reset. It's the first step towards true transformation, and you don't have to walk this out alone. You can visit therebuiltman.com/7-day reset or click the link down there in the show notes below. What you'll get is 1 week of small daily momentum building assignments paired with a brotherhood of men to support you in this journey. You need a plan, brother. You need a brotherhood, and you need to start today. Let's build your freedom one day at a time. Visit therebuiltman.com/7-day reset to get access today. And brother, I look forward to seeing you on the inside.